My name is Molly Feldman. My husband and I and family lived in this house here for about 31 years. My husband had some health issues for a while. In December, he wasn't feeling well, so we decided to go test for corona, and he was positive. The last day of Hanukkah, he actually went to the hospital for corona. He was doing better. After a week, he came home, and we thought that we beat corona. We were so happy that we beat it. And then a few days later, he had breathing issues. So he went back, and each day got a little bit worse until he became intubated a few days later. And during that period, I told him that we're going to write a Mitzvah Shem Sefer Torah for you, and you're going to have a refuah, and you're going to get better. Unfortunately, he was nifter on Beis Shvat, Tafshin Pei Aleph, and it was really a very difficult period for the family. And we decided at the Shloshim, we're going to start the Sefer Torah. We decided to reach out to our friends and family to see who wants to be, mishtatev as part of the Sefer Torah. And the love that people had for my husband had no bounds. It was paid for within 4 weeks, and here we are at the yard site. We plan to make a dedication and finish the Sefer Torah. About last week, a friend of ours came from Eretz Yisrael, who frequented my house many times, who was a very close friend of my husband, by the name of Yisrael Dardak. And I was telling him that, my son Duvi was explaining to me that there's a difference in the way Lubavitcher writes the Sefer Torah, and we were trying to figure out what would make sense, what to do with it.
Mrs. Feldman was telling us when I came Monday night all about the Sefer Torah, all about where she wants to put it, where her sons want to put it. Rabbi Oshri Shul, that's right around the corner on East 17th between O and P. They were thinking about there, they were thinking about other places. But to make a long story short, they're still not sure, and it was, causing a little bit of menuchas hanefesh. Then she had another issue. Parshas Kisetze, it's talking about lo yavoy p'tua dako kru shivcha b'kal Hashem. And there is machlekes that goes back many years. If how to spell daka is Dalid Chof Aleph or Dalid Chof Hey. And therefore, as we know, a letter in the Sefer Torah that's not correctly written is a puzzle Sefer Torah. And therefore we can't use a Sefer Torah that's written incorrectly. Chabad and the Rebbe held from his Mesorah, Tzuadaka is with an Aleph, Dalid Chof Aleph. It's also Teimanim, Yemen, and this is the oldest Mesorah of how the word Daka should be written. So therefore, that was the next problem that we had on our hands, that if we have a Sefer Torah that's written Daled Chof Aleph and not Daka, Daled Chof Hey, then even if I would want to give it to Rabbi Oshi Shul or to any of the other shuls, what's going to be? Will they want such a Sefer Torah? Because it's not the ksav that we're used to, the Mesorah that we have. Tuesday morning, the house is quiet. I say to my son, there's a way to ask a question and get an answer from the Igris of the Rebbe. And I said, let's see if the Igris could work for layman like me, who's not a lubavitcher. So I randomly went and took out a Igris from the shelf that's right next to where Rabbi Naftali used to sit. And my son said, I'll open up the Sefer Igris at random, and Hashem Yazor, kmo shomrim. Hashem will help, and hopefully we'll see an or min hashemayim, a gilui min hashemayim. So I give him the Igris. He says a kapil Tehillim. He opens it up. He looks. And to his bewilderment, he sees a tshuva written about Inyonei Sefer Torah. And I take the Igris. Kivan shakol b'ashkocha pratis, ubifrat inin hakosher b'Torah mitzveseo, mechoivosi v'schusi lahazke bekan psak adin shel Rabbeinu Hazokein balatanya, poisek b'gnigla the Torah lichtov petzua daka ba'alef lebesoif. As if to say, don't change the minig of Chabad. Don't have even a suffix to change the ksav. Chabad is Chabad, and that's our Mesorah. And then he speaks about how it goes back 500 years, the P'tzua Daka, and how that's their minig, to write it with the aleph and not to change. And then at the end he says, "V'yiratzon asher b'toich menuchas hanefesh, menuchas haguf yevaser toiv b'chol ha'omur, v'chein asher b'yachad im refuas haguf shel elu ha'poinim elov, mishtadel gam kein b'refuas nafshon, v'ein lecha dover ha'oimin b'fnei haratzon."
That's when the decision was made right there and then that we will deal with wherever it's going to go to. We're going to figure it out. Perhaps a Chabad house that needs it, or we're going to figure out the right destination for the Sefer Torah. And I felt much better. I had my menuchas hanefesh back, and I knew I was doing the right thing.
That was mamash gilui shein kamoyu, that the Rebbe is talking, that Rebbe Naftali wants the Ksav of Chabad, and who's to get the Sefer Torah and who he'll give the Sefer Torah, that's a different story. But Avada and Avada, you have to leave the Sefer Torah the way they had planned to make it up.